Okay, guys, are you able to hear me properly? Are you able to hear me properly? Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm in Odisha, right? So, border of Odisha and Jharkhand. So it's been raining since 2 days. Maybe I may face some network issues in between. Not very serious one, but yeah. No issues. Today, what we will be doing, we will be basically moving on to our Zomato project. Okay. So for our Zomato project, let me share my screen. This is a assignment. Okay. First, you will be getting the assignment. You will be doing it, and then I'll be releasing a Google form where two Google forms actually. One Google form I'll be asking you all to submit your results. Okay, whatever result you got it on GitHub, you have to submit it. And the second one, which I will be basically asking you guys to give is your doubts. Okay, in the entire Google form you will be putting on the parts where you are facing doubt to execute so that we can do that particular part. Though the project is so simple, there should not be any doubt because it's very easy. It's just a static front end project. Okay, no backend, nothing, and it can be deployed using just your basic like Git and GitHub only. Okay. So what we will be doing right now, I'll be also showing you how to publish it using GitHub. Okay. So great. First of all, let me just give you the assets. So over here, this is the assets. Okay. So I'm just sharing that thing with you guys. Someone please do share it in the unofficial group. Okay, let me just share it in the official group using my WhatsApp. Okay, so this is it. Okay, yeah. Okay, great. So again, another link over here I'll be sharing. So right now you can see that this is a assets folder. In your assets, you have all the images. I mean, most of the images you have. Rest all images which you don't have in the assets folder, I'll be showing you guys how to get that image. Okay. So when you click on the assets folder, you are getting a lot of things, pizza, burger, and all these SVZs and everything you will be getting. What you can do, you can just download this particular thing. I hope everyone can open this folder, can open this drive, like everyone is having permission for viewing this drive. Yes, great. After that, this is a project. Okay, this is a very easy project. Okay, yeah, it loaded. So you have a very simple nav bar. You can use Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, anything you want. You have over here a button. Then you have some text over here. Over here, I'll be telling you what to use where so that you can take some idea on how to do this and you will be able to do it very nicely. Okay, it's a very easy project. Over here, you have one of the nav bars. Now tell me, inside the nav bar, there are two, like over here there is one element, over here there is another element. This element is an image, this is a button. Nothing is clickable or workable. Okay, you just need to prepare this entire front end, nothing else. So now tell me here, what property am I using in the entire nav bar to just bring one element to the left and other to the right? Tell me. Flex, exactly, flex. And in flex, which property more specifically? Exactly, space between. Okay. So in flex, you are using space between. Apart from that, if I make it responsive, you do not have to think about the responsiveness. Okay, if you are able to make it responsive, that's fine. Okay, because responsive design I had already told you, but right now you do not have to think about responsiveness because that's a part I'll be showing you guys how to do it. You just have to prepare the desktop view. Okay, and I'll be taking care of the mobile and all views. Okay, do not worry about that. I'll be showing you guys how to do it, then you will also be able to do it. First, take care of the desktop view. Okay, so you have to prepare this. Apart from that, over here you can see that you have two elements. Again, here also you are using flex. Okay, here also you are using flex, and here you can see that this element is in the center in its own column. This element is in center in its own column. So what property you are using over here? Both the elements center, tell. We had seen two boxes were placed in the center. What property we were using there? Yeah, flex we were using, but in flex what were we using? Like align items. Yes, yes, align items. Okay, exactly. So align items you will be using to place them in center. Please mute yourself if you are not speaking. Mute yourself. Okay. Guys, mute yourself. Oh, guys. Now when I scroll, then you are able to see you have muted or not. Okay. Then after this entire division is over, now again I need to make you understand that you have to, I want to see that how you can execute the learnings you have made right now. Like you have learned a lot of text tags based on HTML and CSS. I want to see how you execute that particular thing into this. Okay. Then only I will be able to learn that who is a fast learner. Okay. And I will be actually recording all the performances of you guys, because at the end I need to provide LOR to 10 students. So yeah, each performance will be recorded. Okay. So over here you can see that we have divisions. Okay, this is a division, this is a division, this is a division. Inside it again, three divisions are present over here. Here you can see we have transition. Okay, so this is based on division kind of, division format. It's based on certain divisions are given, and inside each division there are elements. Okay. Over here you have a video. Yeah, and then I had told you how to place a video, and then your food is prepare all these taglines and all. Then you have a explore menu section. Okay, inside explore menu section you have, over here you can see that how this entire thing is placed on a background. How it is done? It is done using positioning. We had discussed about it. Okay, then over here you have some bootstrap cards are there. Okay, so you are using bootstrap as well here. Some bootstrap cards are present. Okay, now this is a thing, this is bit challenging. Okay, this I want to see who can complete this challenge. And please do not inspect the site and do things. Okay, do not inspect the site and do things, because you can inspect it and do, up to you, but later on if I'll be asking certain questions to the people who have done, then you will be stuck. So be honest. If you are able to do it, then very good. If you are not able to do it, then just tell me. Okay, just a second. Okay, this is a challenging task, because here some people face a lot of issues because it's flex, but yeah, it's, it's kind of tricky. Okay, here you have to play around a bit. Okay, it's expected that you will face certain issues over here. Then after that you have got a form. This is non-workable form. It's not working. It's just a, front end user interface. Then you have a simple division. On it a text is there, and then the footer is present. Okay, every part is very simple over here. I do not see any difficulty inside this website apart from this part. Okay, this part is a bit tricky, but yeah, again, if you are not able to complete this part, just tell me. We will be like having a session on this. Okay, what is happening? Please mute yourself. Sam. Okay, this is the guy. It's not compulsory to use Bootstrap, but yeah, you can use Bootstrap. How to give navbar a shadow? See, the navbar is a kind of element, okay? It's inside a division, or you can also put it inside a nav element. You can access that element and provide a shadow bottom, okay? When you can Google everything you want, okay? Because development is everything about Googling and all. So you can Google whatever you want. There are shadow properties in which you can provide shadow to each of the sides you want, okay? Any one of the sides you want. So what you can do over here, you can provide a shadow bottom and it will have a shadow bottom. Okay. And do not worry if you are not able to provide a kind of this kind of, shade to this button. It's okay if you just provide a purple button over here or a pinkish purple button and order food. Okay. It's fine. I'll show you guys how to provide this shade over here, but it's fine if you're not able to do that. But the basic framework structure of this entire thing should be same. Okay, basic structure. Got it? Yeah, I have given the website's link for reference in your official group. Okay. Ma'am, in explore out menu, do we have to make the button of view more and make the drop down cards? In explore out, do we have to make the button of and make the drop down cards? There are no drop down cards over here. In explore more section, you can see that here explore our menu, and over here you have view more. You do not have to do anything over here. If I click on view more, nothing is happening. Okay, you do not have to make it functional. What you see without clicking anything is what you will be making. Okay, so do not worry about uh, clicking on this view more and then getting more cards and all. Got it? Okay, ma'am. Wait. No. It's not like that. Just try to bring it closer to what you see over here. Okay, try to bring it closer. Even if it's 80% close now, it's fine. Okay. Okay. Ma'am, what do we make the irregular shape background and yeah, irregular shape background, na, it is again one of the challenges. You can try to Google it. It's basically, you try to make a division and give it a slanting effect. Okay. So it's actually, if you explore it, you will get it. Okay. You will get it if you explore it. If you are not able to give it a slanting effect, then just give a proper division, square division effect over here. I'll show you how to give it a slant effect. I just want to see that you guys know all the knowledge about whatever is required over here. How do you put it together and prepare something like this? It is a very easy project. Later on you will be getting such projects now that will it will be kind of difficult, but it is the most easiest project. Okay. Shadow. Shadow is basically a property. Simple. I had also told you guys how to give shadow. Okay, apply the shade. The shade over here, that is this particular shade. Okay, for the shade, you have a simple blue, green, and red combination. Okay. What you can do is inspect the website and get the shade at least. Okay, so if I just inspect the website, then yeah, if I just want the shade, okay, if I just want the shade, I can get it. I have to inspect a bit. I need to zoom out a bit. Okay, I can go to the button for the shade, I guess. Yeah, this is the gradient. See, background image, linear gradient. This gradient you can copy because this is something which you cannot explore now. So these all colors and hex codes and all you can copy, but the code you have to write of your own. Okay, so this is the linear gradient which I was talking about. Okay. What is the use of Z index? See, over here, first of all, there is, very minimal use of Z index. I don't think this is something which you can do using positions as well. Okay. But Z index is something when you have two elements, na, you want to place one element on top of another element. Then you use Z index. Okay. So suppose here there are two elements. I want that this element should appear, the explore our menu thing should appear on top of this entire thing. Then I will use Z index. But here there is no use of Z index actually. Everything can be done without Z index. Yeah, got it. Great, great. Okay. So this is the thing which you will be preparing. Now here, whatever issues you are getting, na, you have to tell me that, ma'am, we are getting this issue and all. So after you prepare the project, I'll be releasing a Google form. I'll be giving you time till Sunday. And after Sunday, on Monday, based on your responses and Google form, we will have a session on the sections where you are facing issue. Okay, on the sections where you are facing issue. So let me just generate a Google form for you guys. Okay, Zomato assignment. And over here also the same thing. And here, okay. And here you have to put your name. And then here your email ID. Okay, great. And I'll just send the assignment link. No, do not make it responsive right now. I'll be taking an entire session on this, how to make it responsive and all. You just prepare the desktop view. Okay. Background image, you can just put it using the background image attribute. Okay. This is basic CSS hack. CSS has a lot of things. If you are stuck at anything, just Google it. Okay. Next stop. No, it's static. Or this entire thing is static. The images are also static. Yes, exactly. You need to upload the project on GitHub. Just upload the source code on GitHub. How to add image over an image? You do not need over here an image over an image. But yeah, you can use Z index for that. Okay, you can use Z index for that. Try to explore around a bit. This is not about just, doing things. It's also about exploring. Okay, here you can see that two images are there. Below one image is there, on its top there is another image. How you can do it? Position, first position you can use, and then you can use the Z index. Okay. Z index greater than any other, like initially everyone has a Z index of 0. If you write Z index 1, that means it will just lie on top of this image. Okay. Try to explore. Do not worry about this. I'll be taking an entire session on this. This is just about seeing, looking out for you guys. How many of you are good at this? Okay. Like learning things and applying it. Got it? This is how you will be doing this entire thing, and you will be showing me. I'll be seeing how many of you have done it. And see, again, I'm teaching you one more thing. Let us go to GitHub. Okay, let us go to GitHub. Let us create a new repository. Okay, and let us name it as test repo. Oh, test repo has been taken. Okay, so reposit. Okay, public, and add a readme file, create repository. Okay, great. Now let us just have, okay, yeah. So let us open our Atom text editor. Yeah, inside our Atom text editor, we had the advanced CSS. So let us try to implement this, like let us try to make this entire thing live. Okay, so what I'll be doing in my GitHub, let me cancel this. In my GitHub, I'll be directly, I'm not like doing push and all. I'm not connecting my repository as I had told you to GitHub, because I directly have it and there are no more changes to be done. So I'm directly uploading it. But you should never do this, because anywhere you make a project later on, you may have some changes. I'm just showing you how to make a website live. Okay, you upload files using git add and git push. Okay, so over here I have added 2 files. Okay, after adding 2 files, let me write here files added and then commit changes. Okay, so this is done. Let us go to setting. Now this is the thing where you can make your website live. Okay, so setting. Okay, just a second. Why is it not showing the thing to make it live? Rename not. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing the, because there used to be over here, because I work on GitLab mostly. There where GitLab and GitHub all are same almost. Over here there used to be a kind of, there used to be a kind of feature where you can just tell that, okay, I want to make it live, and it will be live. I don't know why it's not showing it right now. Maybe there has been some changes over here, or certain kind of, yes, exactly, GitHub pages. So, okay, just a second. I don't know why it's not showing over here, probably. Okay, so they have actually changes. Okay, got it. They have actually done what, before there were not so many, options are not present over here. Right now, I guess they have put it on their user interface. I have not like touched GitHub since the past 5-6 months for deployment, because I mainly work on GitLab, and the GitLab is same as it was. So, okay. Yeah, so this is my test repository. 404, it's not found because right now I have just deployed. So it will take around 30 minutes for things to be saved over here. But this is your link. Okay, this is your live repository link. It will take time, like it takes around 15 to 20 minutes for making it live. But yeah, okay, got it? You need to rename the repo? No. Like, what are you asking? Are you asking something or saying something? Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. So understood, everyone? Understood? Okay, here test repository it's showing, because perhaps you can see that I have my readme file over here. I do not have my CSS and HTML file. Probably there is certain kind of maybe CSS and HTML, I guess there is certain issue over here. Things are not working fine, but yeah, it should work. Why it's not working fine? Let us just use our inline CSS over here. Sorry, internal CSS over here, because it should work. Sometimes it behaves weird. I don't know why it behaves weird. Okay, it behaved weird because I have both the files inside my advanced CSS folder. So that is the reason it is not able to link both of them. Okay, so I should basically remove advanced CSS folder and put the files again. Okay. So let us just do that then. Okay. Let us delete the directory, commit changes. Okay, then add file, upload files. Okay, and then let us open this. Okay, I need to minimize. This acts weird. First of all, yeah. Okay, now it's fine, I guess. Okay, commit changes. Yeah, changes have been committed. Now if I go to settings, okay, so I need to go to pages. Before, it was present in settings only, but now I don't know what have they done. It will take time, again some 5 to 6 minutes to update the repo, but yeah. Ma'am, when to submit the assignment? By Monday morning, like Monday before the class you need to submit it. Ma'am, will you be able to extend the, yeah, before the class, exactly, just before the class you have to submit. Do not worry about it. It's not the final assignment. Once you submit the assignment, then again we'll be having a class on how to do this entire thing. So do not worry about that. Okay. Do not worry about that. Yeah, now you can see that it's working perfectly fine. It was not working because, inside GitHub does not understand relative file paths. Okay, so you please do take care of it. If you have given relative file path, GitHub will not be able to understand. According to you, both index.html and styles.css are present in the same, same hierarchy, but GitHub will not understand. According to GitHub, index.html is present in adb.css/index.html, and styles.css is present in adb.css/styles.css. So that is the reason why I had to delete it, and again I had to push it. Okay, this is how you can make things live. Before some months, GitHub used to provide the provide the entire like provision to make a website live in your settings only, but now they have a pages also over here. So in pages you can just change the branch to main, and yeah, you will be good to go. And here will be your published site link. LOR will depend on a lot of project, not only this project, but the later projects as well. Like after this also, you will be getting a lot of projects. So based on that also, LOR will depend. This is not the final project for which you will have bunch of projects, plenty of projects. Yeah, session is recorded, so you can basically go to the recording and see it. Nothing, you do not have to do anything. Just go to pages and over here change the branch to main and then save. You will get a link and that's it. Just do follow the absolute file pathing rather than relative file path, because GitHub does not understand relative file path. Okay. So do we need to just upload file directly instead of using No, you use CMD push commands, because later on, suppose you have done something and later on you want to push certain other changes, then you should understand no, the things like you should connect your entire local to the GitHub repository. You should use CMD command. This was just a demo on how to do things and how to basically make your site live. So that is the reason why I did not use CMD commands. But you have to use it. Okay? Got it? Understood? Uh, yes. Ma'am, when we upload images for the project in GitHub, should we upload them in a folder upload? No, upload them in a assets folder. There is a proper way of even putting things inside your entire, HTML. Please follow a basic folder structure. Have your index.html, have your styles.css, have your assets also. Inside your assets folder, put all the images rather than just putting all the images randomly inside the root route. Okay? Because that's a good way. Yeah, you can make the Zomato project live through GitHub. Okay, got it, everyone? Yeah, if you put the images in assets folder, suppose you have a assets folder like this, and inside the assets folder, you have put some image. Then you have to write in GitHub assets slash, and then inside that, whatever image is present. Okay, that will work. Just do, see, everything will work perfectly fine. Just do one thing. Never just copy and drag in your entire root repository. Okay, that will just create trouble. Whatever files you are uploading, just upload all the files like this only. So that will automatically happen if you just use the CMD commands. Because whenever you have a CMD, suppose, okay, let me just open my uh, Atom. Okay, if I connect my entire, like the entire local with my GitHub repository, then you can see that inside the root route, there will be a git initialized. Okay, there will be a git initialized. So whatever changes you are doing are with respect to all the elements that are inside the root route. Okay, so whenever you will be pushing something, all the elements inside the ADB CSS or inside your root file folder, sorry, inside your root folder will get pushed into your GitHub. So anyways, you won't be facing any issue. I directly dragged in the root folder, so that is why I faced the issue. Okay. That page link I sent you, that's live in Vercel app. Yeah, it's in Vercel app. Okay, guys, understood? Understood? Yes. Great. Okay. So do you have any doubts based on the assignment project? Please do ask me now. Do you have any doubts? Tell? No. Yeah, Vercel is free. Yes. Yeah, you are going to have a regular class tomorrow. Okay. Great. Great, great, great. Okay. So I guess you guys do not have any doubts, and right now you can give a shot to this entire thing, whatever I'm trying to tell you. Great. Okay. So now let us just go on and understand a bit about DOM manipulation, something, and then we'll move on to the DOM manipulation project where you will master DOM manipulation. We will be doing things and mastering DOM manipulation at the same time. Let me just name it as DOM. Okay. And we do not need a style sheet over here. I'll just delete the styles.css. Delete. Okay. To trash. Okay, and inside it, let us have a new file called script.js. Okay, great. And inside index.html, let us have a paragraph tag. Yes, let us have a paragraph tag, and let us write over here. What can we write? Hello world. Hello world. Great. So we have it over here. Now inside our script, we will be writing certain script. You need to add that script or attach that script to your HTML, like the way you used to attach your style sheet. So how you can attach your script to your HTML? You can do it the same way you used to do styles on. Okay, but inside style, just a second. Okay, in styles.css, you used to put that entire style tag in your head, because whenever a entire, body is like rendered on a web page, then your style sheet should be ready. Okay, so whenever you are trying to show something onto the web page, before that the entire style sheet should be ready, so that all the stylings are ready and everything is fine. Because what you see first is the user interface, right? Now why scripts are at the end? Because after you see the user interface, after all the elements are ready, because the entire script.js is going to work on all the elements, right? So after all the elements are ready, you need to have your script. Okay, so that inside script, if you are searching for any element by id or by class, then your entire body is ready, and now your script is ready to search for any elements or something like that. So that is the reason we'll be putting our script over here, and then we'll be writing over here. Inside the script, obviously you will be having your source. Just a second, guys. Okay, so you need to connect your script. So over here you will be having the src, and inside the src you'll put the file name, that is script.js. Now your entire script is linked. Okay, after that, let us just go to our script.js and write certain thing. Let us have a let keyword, let element element equals to document. Now what is a document? Document is an entire HTML document. Okay, so document is basically your entire HTML parent document. Inside this document you will be searching for certain things. So now you have to understand the parent child relationship. I had already told you, inside the parent child relationship you need to understand that which one is the parent, how to access the child and all. Now inside the document, this is the object. Okay, all the objects have their methods or functions or something like that. Remember, inside objects thing also we had talked about it, that we have our object, and if you want to access any key or any functions of that particular object, then you can access it using the dot operator. So similarly here also we'll be doing that. So we will be basically getting the element by First of all, let us get the element by tag name. Over here, you can see get element by class name, by ID, by name, by tag name. Okay. So we are going to get the element by tag name. Okay. Now over here, you can have a lot of tag names, but here, we have a paragraph tag. You can also have divisions, or else you can also have your okay, am I audible right now? There was certain small network glitch, I guess. Am I audible right now? Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah. So over here inside script.js, you get your document and then you try to get the element by tag name. Inside the get element by tag name, you put the tags name. So we have a paragraph. Okay. So let us try to console log our element, which we stored inside the let keyword. So now if I save this, now let me just go over here and let me just copy the full path, copy full path. And let me just paste the full path over here. Okay, hello world has been printed. That's great. But you can see that over here, I've got the HTML collection one. Here you can see the paragraph. The paragraph tag is having, see, there are a lot of headers. Okay, so basically there is just one paragraph tag over here. So you have got one paragraph tag. Suppose over here, I put a lot of paragraph tags. Okay, I have another paragraph tag which will say, hi guys, and then I have another paragraph tag which will say welcome. Okay, and if I save this and if I go over here, let me just zoom in this bit, this particular part. Oh, why did I come here? Yeah, if I refresh it, you can see that this entire thing, whatever you have console logged, the element is an array of all the paragraphs, of all the paragraphs. Okay, so that is why it is saying that the HTML collection, that is the element, is an array of 3 elements. So the length is 3. There are 3 paragraph tag. In the 0th index, there is the first paragraph tag, which has over here, you can see there are a lot of headers over here. You have to search through what you want to see basically. So here you can see the outer HTML over here, that is the entire tag is hello world. Okay, so this is how you can basically access all the properties. Okay, you can access all the properties inside it. Now similarly, if I it will go like an endless thing. Okay, it has a lot of headers. Now this is the second paragraph, this is the third paragraph. Now suppose if I try to give one of the paragraphs a ID of P1, okay, and I try to get the element by ID. Okay, so this is more specific. Okay, this is more specific. So here what I can say, I can write get element by ID. And inside ID, I can write P1. Okay, and I can remove this P over here because I no longer need this. Just a second. Yeah. I no longer need this and I can just save this entire thing. I can go and I can refresh it. You'll see that I have got the entire, HTML content. And if I hover on this, I'll get the hello world. Okay. So I have got this. Now, after this, you can see that it is so specific that since a ID cannot be used by more than one element, it is not even an array. It is a single object. It is not an array. It is a single object. It could say that, okay, I am a array of length 1, but no, it is a single object because any ID cannot be used by more than one element. Yeah. After that, you can have get element by class name. Okay. And inside get element by class name, you can have something like, we can give a class over here, class as P2. Okay. And again, over here also, we can give a class of P2, P2. Okay, P2. So if I try to get an element by class name and I type here P2 and if I save this and if I go over here and if I refresh this here again, you can see that it has an array. Okay, it is an array of elements and it has two elements, and over here it is basically P dot P2. Why? Because P is your parent and then you're accessing the class of the parent. So it is basically a parent child relationship. So that is why first you are going to P, then a class is another object of P. So that is why you are now accessing the P2. Okay, so P dot P2. Understood? This is basically the simple DOM manipulation or DOM thing which you can access the child using the parent. So it's very simple, and you can see it's a length 2 array. So this is how it works. Now if I try to get element by ID class and all is over. So now if I try to get an element using query selector, okay, so I can write here query selector and I can put here paragraph. Okay, so if I save this and if I go over here and refresh, okay, sorry, I need to put it inside double quotes. Typo. Yeah. Huh. Over here, you can see that I have just got one element. Why did I get one element? Because query selector always returns the first element of the entire array. Okay, so if you are trying to get all the paragraph elements using query selector, you won't be able to get. You'll just get the 0th index element. Now, if I go over here inside my index.html and if I just copy these two things, okay, and paste it on top of this. So now hi guys is basically the first element. Okay, so if I go over here and refresh it, I'll be getting hi guys. Okay, because it's the first element. So this is how DOM manipulation works. Okay, this is how you get certain elements. After getting certain element, you can change a whole lot of things. Okay, you can change a whole lot of things. So over here, what I can do, okay, get element by class name P2. So if I was doing this and if I refresh it, okay, great. I got two elements. Now I can do one more thing. I can get an element by ID. It's better because, yeah, get an element by ID and the element is basically P1. And if I just refresh it, you can see that I got hello world. I want to change the hello world text using JavaScript. Okay, so what I can do, I can write here element dot inner HTML. Okay, inner HTML equals to, I can change anything I want to. So I'll write here something as XYZ. Okay, let it be like this. Yeah, you can see that now inside your local nothing has been changed. Okay, inside your local nothing has been changed, but in your browser you can see that the inner HTML of the ID P1 has been changed to XYZ. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, you can have a lot of event listeners as well, that on clicking I want to change this or that you will be learning when we go to your HTML, like the DOM manipulation project. Okay, that's a very interesting, cool project. Yeah, inside Bootstrap we used to put it, but inside Bootstrap also you can put it after the body is ready, but it's a good practice to put the stripling at the end. It's not like it will not work in the beginning, but yeah, some things may like not work. Okay, P dot P2. So I need to get back to that particular thing. Mute yourself, please. Okay, get element by, I guess it was class name. Class name, and what's the class name over here? P2. Okay, so P2. Yeah. So over here, you can see that if I go and refresh it, then you can see that I got an array of two elements. Now, what is the first element? It is trying to say that the first element is the child of paragraph tag. So the parent is paragraph tag and the class is P2. You are basically accessing the child that is P2 using the parent. Okay, so P dot P2. When you come inside any of the objects, okay, here you see that this P is the parent and inside it, it has class. Okay, class is one of the attributes. So you can take any attribute as one of the methods or one of the keys of particular object. How do you access any key or method of a particular object? You access it using the dot operator. So similarly here also P is the parent and you are trying to access the class using the dot operator. So that is why it is saying that it is an array of two objects. The first object is P dot P2. Why P dot P2? Because P is the parent, P2 is the class, and that's the child of the parent. And you can take the child as one of the attributes or one of the methods or one of the keys of any of the objects, thus to take a reference. And this is how you basically access it. So P dot P2 is basically this entire thing which has a class of P2. Okay. So this is how it works. It's basically a DOM tree kind of structure. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, we use the script link in the head tag. Here also you can use the script link in the head tag as well. Things may or may not work properly, but it is a good practice. You know, there are certain good practices which you have to follow. Let us try to put the script in the head only. I don't know it will work or not, because sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Okay, personal experience. I'm talking from personal experience. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Okay, now it's not working. See, yeah, it worked. Okay, it worked, but in a weird way. Okay, so it may or may not work, but see, this is more relevant. Here you got this, and if you just try to refresh it, then you get everything at a glance, and then it's like more accessible than the previous result, though we got a result in both of them. But yeah, this is more clear. That is the reason. Okay, got it? Understood? Oh shit. Yeah. So take 2 minutes and complete this fast. I'm just pasting the code, and then I will be giving you guys 2 days time. Tomorrow we'll be starting our DOM project front end, and then we'll be clearing the doubts in our Zomato project, and things will be working around parallelly so that you are able to get things from all the ends. So yeah, let us just try to practice this. I'm giving you 2-3 minutes. Do this, and then uh, we'll just end the session with some doubts, and tomorrow we'll be having a normal session. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so over here you are trying to change the inner HTML, that the text of the entire thing. So suppose I'm trying to get an element by the ID P1, and I want to change the inner text of the HTML of the entire element using JavaScript. All I can do is go here and type in whatever I want. But suppose I want to do it using JavaScript. How will I do it? I can just access the dot inner HTML property. It's also like one of the methods, and I can change it. Okay. The way I basically showed you guys. Okay, so please take 2-3 minutes. I'll get back to you at 7:23 and complete this. Okay, and once you are done, just drop it done in the chat box. Okay, yeah. So I guess most of you are done. Wait. Let me check. What, guys? You have written so many things. There was a big paragraph. Yeah. Load all code and then load the script like top to bottom. Yes, you are right. It's a better way. Okay, guys, if you're done, then let us just end the session and you guys can drop off. And please try to complete the assignment. I'll be checking out everything. And yeah, see you then. Okay, bye bye. Good night. See you all. Bye, guys. Bye bye.